If you remember, a few weeks back I had that LG low grade, life's garbage, landfill garbage, whatever you want to joke about LG, their stuff is crap. A couple weeks ago I had that set that the screen was bad with all the bad LEDs. Well, guess what? I was given another one and it's got a bad backlight too. Let's check it out. LG landfill garbage set. You can see where our fault is. We have no backlight. This is another set that was given to me for the same reason that all the others are. The backlights failed. This one here, the screen looks to be not in bad shape, other than the backlight's not working. We'll see if we can get this one going. First things first, gotta remove all the screws, remove the base, get the back off it, and get the base back on. Actually, I don't even need to do that because I gotta pull the whole panel apart, but let me get the back off this set. We know the backlights are shot, so I gotta get the screen off of it so we can get into the backlight. So I'll save you guys the teardown of this and just pick it up once I've got the back off. Now I know the backlights are out, but is it the backlights that are bad or is it the board? This board looks like it's been pretty toasty, doesn't it? So maybe we have a board failure on this set. I do happen to have another board for this very set because I had one with a bad screen. I do have another board and I know that this one works. Look at the difference in the coloration up here. Maybe this set has a bad board. So before I go to all the trouble of pulling apart the screen, let's just take a look at the board, because maybe we have a board problem on this one and I can put the good board in and get a good TV without having to actually tear the screen all apart. And that would be the ultimate if that was the problem. Take a look at how loose these screws are. Like, these screws aren't tight at all. Huh. I wonder if we've got a grounding screw problem. I guess the first thing to do is we'll tighten down the screws and see if this set comes on. Alright, I got power to the set. Let's just throw the meter on the output to the LEDs and see whether there's any voltage coming off this power supply. Huh, I don't see any voltage. We might have a power supply problem on this one. Wouldn't that be cool? Well, let's just swap that board over. So the board comes out pretty easy. There's just basically two connectors. Got the DC out going to the main board. And we've got the high voltage out to the LEDs, and then the board just held in place by a few screws. This TV actually came from the people that, the Toshiba, that had the open thermal cutout. They ended up with that TV and had me take this one away. So there's the back side of the board. I don't see anything burned up on it, but I wasn't getting any voltage going to the LEDs. So let's just swap the other board in and see if anything improves. Replacement board in. Plug in the power connectors for the backlights and the main board. And we'll power this one up and see if anything happens. Fingers crossed it's the bad board, otherwise I'm pulling the screen apart. Okay, it's not the power supply, same thing. Must shut off when it doesn't sense current. The power shuts off because this one's got no power going out the output leads either. But we know that this one works. Therefore, unless it's the control board that's bad. Could be the control board. Who knows, right? I mean, the control board turns the lights on, so we could have a problem on the control board. But we all know that's not going to be the problem. It's going to be the backlight. So let me just get the bezel off, and we'll take this screen apart and check the backlights and see how many of them are shorted versus how, well, there'll be one that's open. But let's see how many this one's got that's shorted, because I'm sure it's got shorted LEDs on it, just like the last one that had about 5 that were shot. Once the bezel's off, we need to remove the timing controller cover so I can disconnect the timing controller straps. I could do it here as well, but it's usually a little bit easier on the board itself. So I'll just remove the 4 screws that hold the timing controller in place so that I can disconnect the straps. And then we'll turn the set over to disassemble the frame so that the screen can be removed. This one they put tape on them. That's something that they don't normally do. This one they put tape on the back of this to, I guess, prevent the connections from coming loose, which was always a common problem on a lot of LCD sets, is that the connectors here worked their way loose and then you ended up with all kinds of weird problems. So their solution was just to throw some tape on it.
I get the feeling that the last set I worked on, someone had been into it because there was no tape.
Okay, lift up here. The connector.
And there was no tape on the tabs on the side of the panel either, which
cables?
This one has. Yet they were identical sets, made at the same time.
I'm just going to put the cover back on and just attach it with like one screw just to hold the board in place.
So I get a feeling that the last one that was given to me, somebody tried to fix it and they damaged the panel. Damaged one of the tabs on the panel and then just gave it away because that tape wasn't there. And also, well, you'll see the other ones that got more tape on the side tabs that the other one didn't have. Next is removing the arrow mark screws along the edge on the bezel that holds the screen clamp in place so that the screen can be removed.
Once the screws are removed, the surround can come off. 4 pieces to the surround. Now the critical part. You have to lift out these circuit boards without damaging these tabs. These will fall off very easily if you're not careful. And these have to be lifted out first before you can lift the screen. You kind of have to tilt them and lift so that they will lift out very, very carefully, like that. Lift and tilt, and don't put any tension on them, because if you do, you could damage the tabs, and if that's the case, then the screen it's game over for the screen. And anybody who's done this before has damaged at least one screen.
I can't stress how fragile these tabs are. They were what's called a hot bar press that presses them onto the circuit board and to the screen itself.
Very, very touchy.
And they're fragile as anything. So take your time when you're doing this.
The part that always makes me nervous is getting these tabs out.
Sorry about the exposure there too. The camera is seeing all the black from the dark screen and turning up the exposure, making everything else kind of blow out a bit.
Just like that. Okay. Now that the tabs are loose, we can lift the screen out, put the screen in a safe place. Keep this in mind. On this set, and I'm sure there's others, they have taped down the 8, there's 4 on each side on this, tabs for the horizontal drivers. They've taped these tabs down to the frame. You gotta carefully remove all that tape first, kind of peel it off so the tabs can be free. Otherwise, if you try to take the panel off without doing that, you're going to end up with torn tabs and a shot panel. It's almost like they're booby trapping these things to stop people from attempting to repair them. But anyway, I've got the tabs all loose now. Now the critical part, I gotta lift the screen off so that I can get to the backlight. Chances of the screen being damaged are actually quite high, because when you're picking this tape off, you got to really be careful not to put any excess stress. But these tabs will come off that panel so easy. It's incredible how easy they will come off. So hopefully no damage has been done doing this. The last one I did, the tabs were not taped. So that's something that they've done on this. It's a little different than the last one that I worked on.
Or someone else already took it off.
Make sure that the tabs aren't going to catch on anything as I remove the set. I'm just going to fold them out of the way like this and just stick a bit of tape on it. That way, when I lift the panel off, I don't have to worry about the actual tabs themselves becoming damaged. And I can just move the screen and put it where it's going to sit for the process. So I've got another little special little space here that I'll set the screen on, and that'll hold the screen while I'm working on this. So now I can take apart the light box. Now I can remove the plastic catches on the side to hold the frame in place. Then I can take apart the diffuser and we'll get down to the lights. So I'm going to do that off camera because I'm going to be in the way of the camera anyway as I do it, but there's just some plastic clips all the way on the side. Once the catches have been released, the frame will come off And then we can remove the actual screen, which is comprised of a few different layers. But they'll all lift off as one piece. Just like that. Oh, look at this. Half the LEDs, the tops have fallen off them. Either that or they never had them. Where are they? Oh, here they are down here. Look at this. Yeah, real good quality TV there, LG. Gee, you make a great TV. What a piece of shit. Life's garbage. Landfill garbage, whatever you want to call it. Junk. Half the lenses have fallen off. No wonder these TVs look so pathetic after a couple of years. I wonder how the ones that are glued down, I wonder how well they're glued. Oh, look. Even the ones that haven't fallen off, they're falling off. Every single one of these things, the glue has failed. Interesting. They're all going to have to be re-glued. What a joke. They're all just falling off. Look at that. Nothing's even glued on here. This is ridiculous. Even the white spacers. The plastic has become so brittle that I can't even remove the white spacers. They just break to pull off the reflective sheet. What a joke. So I've determined that there's one open LED and there's two shorted ones. The one that's open is this one right there. And how I did it was, well, first of all, I powered up each strip, one side of the strip at a time with about 20 volts, I guess, is what I had the power supply set to. And I could light up each side, light up one strip at a time by just connecting to the various terminals here, positive and negative. Current limited to 20 milliamps. So that got each of the strips to light, except for this strip. There's one strip over on the other side over here, but there are two LEDs that are shorted. So, which ones are these two here are dead. No light. That one lights, that one and that one. Those two are dead. They've internally shorted, so they won't kill the panel. But on this one, we've determined it was this LED over here. How I determined that, I went through with my meter and just applied power to each of the LED chips, one at a time. And you'll see them light up. So if I apply power to that one, you'll see the lights, you see? Light. And then the next one was this one, and it lights. And the next one is this one here, and it doesn't light. This one's dead. The other two lit as well. That one lights, as does the end. So this one here, this is the diode that's shot on this one. Oh, it's even crumbling right apart. Look at that. The diode itself is falling apart. It got so hot. So we're going to remove that one. Just going to short it. Doesn't matter. This TV's going to look like crap anyway. I'm going to glue those lenses back on, but I just want to get this thing working so that I can get it out of here. This will be a giveaway like most of them. This is more of just a project to see if I can make it work without putting any money into it. Already I'm going to have to go and get some glue to glue all those covers back on. All 60 of them had to be glued back on. But let's get this diode removed and just shorted. The blob of solder over top of the dead LED will power the setup and see if they all light up. I would imagine there's probably going to be some brightness differences between them. This is a very high hour TV. It came from some old people that are basically housebound. They don't leave their place, and the TV gets turned on every day as soon as they wake up. It sits on the Greek channel, as they're Greek people, and it would sit and run all day long and be still running when they're going to bed, because a lot of older people, especially people that like to watch programming from their native country, they like to turn the TV on and just have it running all day. So I would imagine, just from how brittle the plastic was on all of those spacers, that's from the UV light that's produced by the LEDs. So this has a lot of hours on it. It's not surprising that the LEDs are failing. So I'm not going to put any money into it because I won't get any money for it. A TV like this, believe it or not, a used TV, they're being given away. You know, basically, if I'm lucky to get $50 for a working TV, if I'm lucky. Usually I end up just giving them away because They've got no value. Nobody wants a used TV. Nobody wants televisions that are 5 years old or even ones that are newer. They want new. So no money in it. I don't know how some people could say that they make $200 or $300 fixing TVs, because I couldn't even get $100 to fix a set. And that would be parts and labor. Instead, they bought my other TV from me and I delivered it to them, and they gave me this one in exchange. So, no money in TVs, not here. Not in this market anyway. So we're going to plug the power in and see if this set lights up. I'm going to have to find some crazy glue, and I'll have to re-glue all those lenses before I can start to reassemble this set. And fingers crossed I didn't damage that screen undoing all those tabs that were taped in place with all the stupid designs. But hopefully the tabs aren't damaged, and I'll actually be able to get a picture of this one, and I won't just be hauling it off to the recycling center like the last one. Somewhere on here there's a switch. It just flashed and they went out. That's an indicator that there's still a problem. The top bank's not lighting. So we got more problems than just the one LED that was bad. I bypassed the LEDs that are no good. Let's see if the panel, the rest of them will fire up. Okay, so now we got lights. As you can see, there's a bunch of them that are shot. We have a dim one here, which probably should be shorted out because I'm sure it's going to go open next. Got one dead one there. We got another dead one here. Two more dead ones here. That one I had to short. I had to short that one. I shorted this one. These actually were shorted internally. Shorted that one out. That one out. Yeah, so we got a bunch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. This one here, I think I'll bypass that one while I'm at it, just because it's so dim, it's not going to give off any light, and you know that that's going to be the next one that's going to go. I don't know how long this thing will actually run, and that's why when I get it together, if it works, great, I'll give it away to somebody. I wouldn't sell this for anything. It'll just be a freebie, because if I sell it even for $20 and it breaks down after a month, guess who's contacting me saying, my TV you sold me broke down. So, the only sets I actually try to get any money for, believe it or not, is none of the LED backlit sets. I give them away. The only ones I actually try to get any money for when I sell them is plasma TVs, because I know that they're going to last for a while, and conventional LCD. Again, because I know that the fluorescent backlights are going to last a long time, and they're not going to give trouble, whereas these always do. So I'm going to just do the last little bypass on this one here, then I'll cement the lenses back in place. Okay, I've jumped out the one that's bad. Now, I'm going to hear the same thing from the same group of people that I hear the same thing from every time. Why don't you just buy the LED strips? You can get them from wherever.com for $50. Because it's not worth putting $50 into a TV that I'm not going to get $50 for. It's not like I'm keeping the TV. It's not like this is my main TV. It's something that it's a project. I'm showing you guys how to get these things running. If it's your own TV and you want to spend the money to buy the LED strips, then knock yourself out. But please don't criticize me for not doing it, because this is a project to show you guys, to teach you guys how you can jumper these things out and make them work at no cost. I'm not doing this as a job for anybody, and when the set is disposed of, it's given away. So I'm not going to spend any money to fix a TV. The next question is, isn't this not going to shorten the life of the existing LEDs, because I've now shorted out a bunch and there's excess power? No, it's not. The power supply used on these televisions, like all LED power supplies, it's what's called a constant current source. The current is regulated for all the LEDs in series. It doesn't care whether there's 10 or 60. It is going to provide the same amount of current under all circumstances. So it doesn't matter. It's not going to affect the life of the rest of them. The rest of them are going to last as long as they're going to last before they fail. And doing this affects them in no way. I've got some LED light bulbs that a single chip failed on, and I jumpered it like, well, I think I did one about 7 years ago, and it still works. And it's used every day for 3 to 4 hours a day. It doesn't affect them in any way whatsoever because the power supply itself is limiting the current. So now I have to get some crazy glue. I should have some here somewhere, and start gluing on all the lenses except for the ones that don't have LEDs working. There's no point in putting lenses on those because, well, they're not going to do anything. Let's get reattaching the lenses. So I glued the lenses back on. Whoops. Where's this one? Oh, I dropped a couple on here, that's why. That I didn't need. Okay, so lenses have all been glued back on. That's about as good as it's going to get, I guess. We'll start to reassemble the set and see how bad it looks. It's not going to look great, but be watchable, I guess, for someone who wants a free TV. This is again like really weird because without the plastic clips to hold this deflector back against the back, and of course they all shattered. I'll have to glue this down, I guess, as well. Otherwise, there's going to be, it's not going to be even light distribution. Even as it is, there's not even light distribution. Some of these lenses have discolored just from the heat. Another thing that I've noticed, besides some of them being brighter than others, so it might be just the way that it might be just the lens might be a little bit discolored. But you'll notice that some of them are much more blue than the others. And this is what happens with white LEDs over time. The phosphorus starts to change and the color temperature shifts. Remember the LG set I showed a few years ago that the picture had gone entirely blue? Well, this one's starting to go that way. As you can see, a lot of these ones have a lot more blue cast to them than the others. That's just a phenomenon that happens on these cheap LED sets. It's going to be pretty nasty, this thing, once it goes together. It looks terrible, but what can you do other than change all the backlights, change all the lenses, because a lot of these lenses, they just from the heat have yellowed. So a lot you can do. But I'll get the screen back on and we'll see if it works. Okay, I've lowered the screen back on. I'm going to put the brackets onto it. The side brackets go on first. Got to tape down these edge connectors again, or the tabs. The two side clamps go on first, and then the top and the bottom. Very carefully put these tabs back in place. They slide in the slot like that. Whew, that part's done. Got the other one to do. Nail biting time, folks. Nail biting time. All right, I got the bezel, or the bracket back on. Now the bezel can go on. And it just snaps onto the front of the set. This is the easiest part to put this on. It just clips in place. That's the easiest part to reassemble. Time to reconnect the timing controller board. attach the indicator light. Okay, I guess it's time to see if it works. I just plugged it in. As you can see, the lights are lighting up. There's going to be hot spots on this thing for sure, but at least it works. Bring up the... Yeah, what else? What else is new? Yeah, you're going to see them. It's a giveaway set. What can I say? Throw the back on the set and we'll see what a picture looks like. It's going to look like crap. I'm guaranteed it's going to look like crap, but at least it'll have a picture. And when it goes up for free, somebody will take it. Okay, so there it is. Yeah, it looks like crap, but that was to be expected. The lenses are fogged, and you know, there's not much you can do about that other than change them all. And with that, with the that reflector not being held in place by anything, it's causing very uneven lighting. Not much I can do about that. It's not something I'm going to put money into, that's for sure. And with the LEDs that are dead, you can see darker here. I mean, these sets are junk. You know, landfill garbage, as people have called them. But hey, it's fixed. Now you know what goes wrong with these sets. And if you're fixing one of your own, you're going to be buying new backlights and replacing them all and new lenses. The problem with a lot of these lenses is they've just, because of the heat from the LEDs, some of them have actually discolored. Of course, I didn't find that out until after I glued them on. But anyway, it is what it is. Before I go, do you think that this might have been one of the reasons why the unit, where am I here? You think this might have been one of the reasons why the backlights went bad? Because the backlights were cranked up. If I turn them down, it might actually make it look a little better. But yeah, it was cranked to 100%. And that's one of the reasons why the backlights fail as quickly as they do. See, turning the backlights down actually improves the picture, believe it or not. Still, you can still see them, but you know, it's going to be a giveaway set. What more can I say? If you've got an LED backlight set, don't run the backlights up at 100%. Not unless you want it up like this one, with a bunch of backlights that are shot. And that's what's going to happen. You're going to burn them up. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.